2. So again, I have to come back to this topic, Jay.
Yeah.
Halvesies. Darth Vader's lightsaber
Yeah.
is going up for auction. Okay. And they're thinking 3 million.
3 million.
3 million. So can we go halvesies on Darth Vader's lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi?
Can you give me like a price rundown of all like the body parts and organs that we can live without and how much they go for in the black market?
I'll be honest, I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean,
Uh,
it's a cool looking lightsaber.
Look, I actually don't own a house here in the Seattle area. I mean, yeah, if we both owned houses, we could sell our houses, be homeless, and then,
Own Darth Vader's lightsaber.
yeah,
I'm just saying. All right. So anywhere from 1 to 3 million. Hey, maybe it'll only be 1 million, and then we can just go halvesies at 500,000. Right.
no.
Let's see here. The other memorabilia up. Here we go. Indiana Jones's whip from Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
250 to 500,000. That's more affordable. Okay. And the original bat suit from the original 1989 Batman, also at 250 to 500,000. So we could get all three if we can come up with like $4 million. I'm just
Dude,
saying. I'm just
the best
saying.
I can do is like $1,000, and that's still gonna get me in trouble. Gonna get me in a lot of trouble.
I'm just saying. Now, speaking of spending money, so I got my badge for MagicCon in Atlanta at the end of the month. But with the way the Spider-Man magic prices are going up, because I got the legendary VIP and it comes with 3 Spider-Man collector booster packs.
No.
Right? So if I was to go pre-order those packs right now, they're going for roughly $83 a pack, right? And I get 3. Okay. So I
Nice.
figure I've paid for my badge with just my packs. Right? Like, am I wrong?
No, I mean that's solid. Yeah.
Um I think it's a solid idea. Right? Have you seen the spoilers for that, by the way?
No, I don't think I have.
Dude, they've got some classic comic art. Um, um, Dude, they've got some really, really good stuff in there. Let me see if I can pull it up for you real quick. Oh, here we go. This one, the Saw in Half one, which has got Hobgoblin pulling Spider-Man in half. Right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Isn't that dope?
that
And
is really
then,
good.
and then, oh, where's another good one? Looking for more of the good comic book art one. Oh, here we go. This is classic, right? They reprinted Rest in Peace, right? Spider-Man at Ben Parker's graveyard,
Oh, yeah.
right? That one's pretty good. So they're doing some cool reprints on this one. There's another one I wanted to show you. Iron Spider. Oh, here we go. Unexpected Windfall. This is a classic comic cover, right?
Oh, no.
With
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Isn't that cool? I like
Yeah.
that one. So they got some good stuff coming with the Spider-Man set, right? I'm trying to do that. I'm being accused in the chat of girl mathing my way through the amount of money I'm spending on this MagicCon trip.
That's funny.
So
Uh, yeah. I don't know. That's really cool. And that leads me into my first topic of I am creating a fan site, wink, wink, where it's very limited edition. I'm only raising up. How much are those magic packs? $83, you said?
Yeah, $83 a pop for the pack.
Once again, $83, guys. You can no longer buy feet pics anymore
I'm
on my
telling
fans.
you should sell OctoKitty's feet pics.
I mean,
I think you get good money out of OctoKitty feet pics.
yeah, I just feel bad about that because I feel like I then like, what does that make me if I force OctoKitty to sell feet pics?
I don't know. Okay, somebody else in the chat. My wife is in the chat saying she would sell feet pics. Do not open that can of worms. Okay, like you joke, but the reason this is a meme is because it's kind of true.
Oh
Okay?
yeah,
Like it's kind of true. Like there's some weird people out there who'll be like, "I will buy your feet pics," right? There's whole subreddits about feet pics. Shit.
yeah.
Like, that's a fucking thing. Like, if you want to make some side money, fuck it.
We did cover this on like the other podcast.
Because we're talking about feet pics.
And the people, my friends that do this, that actually do also sell feet pics, said the people that actually really make any sort of decent money, like also do other things. Like it's not just selling feet pics. Like you have to build an audience doing other things. And then you get the people with like that want to buy feet pics.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. It's out there. It's out there. There's other weird shit that people will buy. Okay? People buy used underwear.
That's true. And also used this surprised me. Used tennis shoes. Like there's a whole market where someone was telling me that she will buy a pair of tennis shoes that she really likes, wear them for about a month. So let's say she bought them for $60. She'll wear them for about a month, sell them for 80. And I was like, that's you, like you broke the universe. Like, like you're wearing something down and then you're selling it for more than what it cost you. Like
and this is the high quality content you get from the Error Code show. Is feet pics and used shoes. Okay? Speaking of which, coming to you live from our weird home studios, it is the Error Code show for September 4th. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. If you want to support the show, you can use your Prime subs on Twitch, right? If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Prime sub. And so you can use that to give us Amazon's money. We also accept normal subs if you want to pay for a sub. We appreciate that. You can comment, like, and subscribe to our videos on the YouTube channel. Please share those to all your stuff. Jay started a new Facebook page, right? So go follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Where else did you start up?
Just Facebook and Twitter. And I will say, if you guys are on Facebook, because when I started Facebook, I posted that topic from last week, the episode from last week as like the first thing on that page, the transition story thing. And yeah, if you're a fan of this show, I would really appreciate if you go into the comments and you'll see what I mean.
Yes. So go follow us on Twitter and Facebook. That really helps us out. We're trying to beat the algorithm gods. So with that out of the way, let's jump into our first segment for tonight. Normally I try and stay away from the topic of AI because this particular topic gets people super annoying. Okay? Not annoyed, annoying. Okay? But I did think that there was a couple of stories this week. One that I found, one that Jay found that were a little interesting on the AI side of the house. So we're going to talk about that. Midjourney, one of the big AI companies out there, is being sued by Warner Brothers, as there are by other companies, but Warner Brothers, because Midjourney, quote, brazenly dispenses its intellectual property as if it were its own. What are they talking about? They use some examples where just by typing in the prompt classic comic superhero battle, right, it spits out Superman, Batman, and Flash, right? Not generic superheroes, but those particular superheroes. They're facing similar lawsuits from Disney and Universal, which called the company's AI image generator a virtual vending machine that generates endless unauthorized copies of their work. So, I guess this is where again, people get super annoying about this, and there's some that I agree with and some that I don't. But we're gonna try and talk about both our AI topics tonight with just a teeny bit of nuance. Okay, nuance. It's a thing. So right off the bat, what is your first immediate gut reaction there, Jay?
AI can be a tool for good, but we are going to fuck it up like every single other thing that we have ever created. That's my initial that's my initial go-to. That, and also kind of like what you were saying about just trying to stay away from AI topics. Like, I kind of feel like I just want to Marshawn Lynch here and be like, y'all know why I'm here. And that's all I say for the next hour and a half.
Remember, the next AI topic was your idea.
I know.
Just pointing that out. That one was your idea. We had to tweak that one a little bit just to make sure that the YouTube algorithm gods don't kill us. But that next one was your idea, and I think it's an important topic too. Here's where I come down. Again, let's toss some nuance in here. I used it with my last store because when we were writing like ad copy for social media posts and stuff like that, where sometimes generating that stuff is hard, right? Especially in a way that's going to be engaging and really do what you need to do. There was one site called copy.ai that did ad copy, and you could make tweaks to it and say, hey, I want it to be more playful. I want it to be more serious, more this, more that. And it was useful for generating kind of ad copy. Okay. And there's stuff where I think LLMs can be useful, where AI can be useful. Conversely, I'm getting to it, people who are about to yell at me in the comments section. Conversely, I do think that there are massive copyright issues with AI that, quite frankly, our chicken shit of a government don't know how to handle and refuse to confront head on. Right. And I think that that's a massive issue. And I don't see that status quo changing under the current administration. You know, and so what do you think about all that, Jay? I mean, what's your
Yeah, I agree. I don't think our administration is going to try to take this on, or I don't know, at least like be decisive one way or another. They'll probably just talk about it like, oh, we need to do something about it. It's so bad. It's like the worst. It's like the crime in DC. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. I don't think they're gonna touch it. And if you kind of think about it, like, why, right? AI right now is it's a huge, I don't know how big it is, but it is a huge industry, right? There's a lot of giant tech corporations that are funding AI.
It's the reason NVIDIA and AMD have gotten as big as they are, too, because the chips they're designing specifically for AI, it's not about graphics cards and you know, gaming computer chips anymore. These are chips and stuff that they are designing specifically for LLM, for AI generation purposes, right? Because you need massive amounts of computing power, generally speaking. And we talked about this a few years ago where the Chinese are saying they've got one that doesn't require it, but go check that video out if you want to know more. You know, it's a huge thing. Now, conversely, you're right. It's turning into a huge industry, but Salesforce just laid off 4,000 people with their CEO saying AI means I need less people.
Oh.
And that's the other thing that I think is killing us here. And we could, God, man, I could go down the rabbit hole on what I think we should do about this, but I mean, what I saw you make a face there. What's your thought process?
I hear this all the time, like, oh, like AI is going to take my job. Oh, you know, AI is, you know, I'm going to get fired because AI can do my job. And this is actually I don't believe this is true. I know we just said whatever laid off a lot of people,
Salesforce.
but yeah. Um, but you still, so I was talking to an engineer today about this same topic.
And just to be clear for our audience who may or may not have watched this video before, Jay is an engineer. That's what Jay does for a living in the real world. Okay?
In the world.
Until we make enough money to do this podcast full time, right? And come to you every day of the week. This is what Jay does. Jay is an engineer. So Jay knows what they are talking about.
Yeah. So a fresh out of college engineer, I was talking to her about this, and she was like, I just have AI write my code. Like I will say, hey, write this. I'm trying to do XYZ, write it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. You still have to have someone that can present that. Like you still have to, so like let's step outside of like engineering. Typically there's a lot of cross functionality between other departments. So like you have to be able to explain what is going on for someone like a project manager to understand, who may or may not be an engineer, right? I feel like sometimes they do have an engineering background, sometimes they don't. And you're going to have to explain it to the project manager so that they can explain it to their, to the company's L1 leadership team or C-suite. And if you don't know what's going on, and if you can't explain what is happening, you're like, it's not going to work. Like there's still documentation of, so like, for instance, like where I work, we have documentation on like theory of operations is what we call them. Here's what's going on. Here's how it's happening so that future engineers can review it, understand exactly like our approach for whatever XYZ. You still have to have a human interaction to explain what's going on to non-engineering type people. But then also you have to understand, you have to be able to catch the mistakes that will happen, or at least be able to understand the code enough to tweak it to do what you want it to do. You can't just, I'm going to fire everyone and I'm going to have a project manager just go in and just start writing AI, like, hey, AI, create a program for XYZ. You still have to have that engineering interaction.
Well, and you still have to have some knowledge, because, again, to me, my first thought would be, let's say I, Alex, go, hey, I want you to do ChatGPT, write me this code in this language to do X, Y, and Z. If it spit it out, my first thought would be, well, I guess this will work, and I would put it into my code thingy, and I would execute it. But if there was a bug or something that I had to interact with that I don't know how to read that code and see where what's going wrong is going wrong, right? So you still have to know something. You still have to be able to write code. You still have to be able to debug code, right? In order for that to work, right? And so again, this is where I come back to what you said. It's a tool, and I wish people, so I'll give you an example for the audience. We use a tool inside of one of our systems that we use here for our stream. And what it does is, at the end of our stream, you'll notice we're in a side-by-side formats, right? So I'm here, Jay is right there, right? But we want to edit videos for multiple formats. So what we do is we take the stream every week, and we kick it over to this AI tool, and what it does is it analyzes our stream. And then what it does is it auto-edits the video to put us in a top-down format, right? Up-down format that's modified for like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. And it spits that out for us. And then it does that, what I call boring, grindy editing, where it sets that all up for us. And then I go back in and I tweak it and I make some cuts, and maybe I cut out some dead air, or we extend the clip out, which Jay sees me do this every week. I'm like, oh, what if we push this clip another 4 seconds because the AI didn't catch the end of this statement, right? And it's not perfect, because we get, 8 or 9 clips generated a week, and we maybe go with 2 or 3 where we're like, okay, those are good. So again, and to me, that's a tool. we're a tiny little YouTube channel, tiny YouTube channel in the scheme of YouTube. And so for us, we can't afford a professional video editor, and I don't have the time, now that it's Jay, to go in and do this manually every stinking week, right? And so I see it as a tool, but again, I would never use it to be like, and I'll give the other example. I've written RPG books. I would never use generative AI to write a book for me, if that makes sense, because that's just cheating. And this is, again, where I say people get super annoying. Because I see these pro AI people, and speaking of people firing people, I know of a large security company that is in the process of cutting its operation staff by 40%. Because they have convinced themselves that they can cut their operation staff by 40% because they can let AI do a lot of those functions. Now, anybody in the industry with half a fucking brain is well aware that this is going to fall flat on its face. We're all kind of looking forward to it, right? Because we're like, oh, company, you have no idea, because you're still dealing with people, and the computer does not understand people, okay? You're going to screw yourselves, and we're kind of all looking forward to it, and I think they deserve it, right? But what annoys me is the people who are like, AI can fix all your problems. I see them on TikTok, AI generation is a new skill. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Writing AI prompts is not a new career path. Okay? That's why I say people get super annoying with this. Because again, you have the people who are on one, like the very Luddite side, where they're like, AI must die. Right? And the other side who are like, AI is everything. And quite frankly, and I think this is the other problem, is we've lost the ability to talk about this with nuance. We have no ability to vote or hold our elected officials to account with nuance, where we can get to the point where they're going to put in the fucking regulations that we need. Isn't that right, Akko Katie?
Yeah, it's a tool. It's meant to help aid you. It's meant to help accelerate things. For me personally, like, it helps me get a little bit closer to doing everything I'm supposed to do every day, because my job legit today came in, very first thing, another engineer was like, oh, we have another problem. XYZ happened. It's not in the budget. It's not on the timeline. Oh, awesome. And typically on a good day, I can get through like half of what I'm supposed to actually do every single day. Now, AI can speed that up and help me get closer to 100%, or maybe take on other projects, more things. But you still have to have this actual human being interacting with AI and understanding what is it doing and how to modify it. Because if any one of you have ever wrote code, you cannot write code and it work perfectly the very first time. Like, you can go and watch YouTube videos of these super high level people showing you how to code stuff, and I guarantee you every single video they're going to run into an error, and they're going to go, huh, what did I do wrong? Hang on one second. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, let me fix that. Like, everyone has this issue where you fuck up and like you have to try to find and debug your scripts. It happens.
Yep.
You can't just take what AI is shitting out and go sell it.
Right. Well, and again, obviously, when something goes wrong with your product that you coded with AI, you have to be able to look at the code and know what happened.
Yeah.
Straight up. So anyway, that'll do it for this topic today. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Is AI evil? Is it good? Or can we actually start to have nuanced conversations? And when do we think we can start having nuanced conversations about the practical application of AI in all of our lives? We are going to stay on the topic of AI for the next segment. This one's going to get a little more darker, deeper, something.
I don't know.
Maybe. All right. Jay, why don't you take us away with our next topic in the realm OAI?
Yeah. All right. Parasocial relationships used to be very simple, right? Um, you would project feelings onto celebrities, TV hosts, or streamers that didn't actually know you existed. It was one-sided, but at least it was transparent, right? And AI kind of flips that dynamic. These chatbots and digital friends pretend to know you. They remember your likes, mimic your empathy, and feedback exactly what keeps you engaged. Like you're kind of addicted to it. And this isn't connection. This is programming. um, every response is designed to make you spend more time, share more data, get more emotionally hooked to that AI bot. And unlike a celebrity or a creator, an AI personality isn't even a person. It's a product engineered to act like your best friend, to act like your partner, your therapist, um, depending on whatever is going on that'll help keep you coming back to it. Uh, the danger here isn't just loneliness, right? It's dependence. People can end up getting confused with scripting attention for genuine care, and that makes it easier for companies to exploit those bonds. At its core, this isn't about relationships. Um, it's actually about control. AI-driven parasocialties aren't human connection. They're corporate design simulations of it, and like someone said in chat, Tom, we should all be very cautious about this. This is kind of
This
this is kind of creepy. So, what do you think, Alex?
well, this started out with you discussing somebody suing about their child um, taking their own life because of some stuff they were doing with a chatbot. I mentioned that I've seen some Reddit stuff where people are like marrying their chatbot buddies that they name.
Yeah.
There's been some high profile stuff with these chatbots. Obviously, there's now adult chatbots, right? For the sexting and the simulated, corn, right? Um, and this again kind of comes back to our last topic, which is when are we going to get some sort of regulatory framework around this? Um, I do think that this does present a new danger. Like you said, people were in parasocial relationships before, right? They would, get attached to, celebrities or creators and kind of invent these parasocial relationships in their mind. Sometimes it's fantasy, sometimes it's not. Um, Sometimes it's cross that line, and then we have law enforcement involved, things like that. But this, to me, and not for the but for people, is much more dangerous. We've heard the memes and the jokes about, well, men are just going to start, doing it with bots because screw it, and I'm like, that's not a good thing, you know. And then again, yeah, you get down to people trying to treat them like therapists, and then you've got this next note in here that I like, which this was one of your original notes on this.
Yeah. Should AI ever be trusted with mental health conversations?
Yeah, should they be allowed to engage with emotionally vulnerable discussions at all? Um, and then you've got this question here, which I really like.
What responsibility does a company have when its AI is used for support, whether it be intentionally or not?
Well, exactly. And what responsibility does it have for the outcomes of those interactions? And that to me is really, really, it's a difficult question, right? Like there's part of me that's like, well, it's the people who are being dependent on it, but it is these companies, these corporations, these massive mega corporations, because these aren't small companies either, right? These massive mega corporations who are creating these bots and letting them loose into the wild without a regulatory framework and allowing them to do this, you know. And what I mean, what do you think? Do you think they bear an ethical responsibility, a moral responsibility, a fiscal responsibility,
I
criminally
think
liable?
I think if they know their product is being used, I'm gonna kind of go to like the extreme end here. Um, if they know that their product is being used to provide like therapy to somebody, and they continue to let it happen, I do think they're liable. Because here's the thing. Well, it at least doesn't stop families from attempting to sue companies, right? Like anyone can sue anybody. So it at least kind of opens that door. But I go to therapy, right? And obviously, my therapist has a master's degree in psychology or something. I don't know. She has a lot of certs and a lot of different things. Um, but the point is, she can pick up on the very small things like, hey, like I noticed that you're not actually looking at me. Maybe you're looking over here a lot. Maybe you're just saying like, oh, I'm tired. No, everything's fine. But maybe I just sound a little different that day. Like she can pick up on that, right? And be like kind of probe further. She can also send emergency services to my house to evaluate me if she deemed that that was necessary. And these AI bots are, it's programming, it's cold, it's, they don't have that human interaction. So if you have an individual that is going in there saying, I'm depressed, right? And this is really sad to me because maybe this person either A, doesn't have a job, maybe they're still in like high school, maybe they can't afford therapy or their family can't afford therapy, maybe they don't have insurance, whatever. So they're seeking like this very cheap way of getting therapy. If a company knows that is happening and that their product is being used to give vulnerable people advice that could potentially lead someone down the road of self-harm, let's say, YouTube algorithm, I think they are. I think they're liable.
Well, and I think you hit on it, and you kind of went there, and the thing that strikes me more is if you're a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, there are boards and organizations that hold you to both an ethical and a legal standard. If you violate just the ethical standards, hey, you can't do this anymore. We just don't let you, right? You're done. And it can be pushed all the way to criminal or civil liability, right? Whether you go to jail, whether you do this. Also, you are a mandatory reporter, right? If somebody comes in, if I'm a psychologist and somebody comes in and says to them, I am going to kill someone, right? Or I'm having a thought about having homicidal thoughts about my coworkers, right? They are legally obligated to report it to the authorities, right? An AI chatbot and the corporation that it's created by does not have that legal liability, does not have that legal requirement, right? You know, and like you said, if your therapist is like, I think you're going to self-harm, right? I feel like you're a danger to yourself. I am, again, a mandatory reporter. I am required to ensure that steps are taken, right? Up to and including, and again, this kind of goes back to what happened in Minneapolis last week that we didn't really want to talk about, but this is what it is. In Washington State, we have red flag laws, right? Where if they feel like you are a danger to yourself, they can contact law enforcement and ensure you don't have access to firearms for a temporary period of time, which is probably a good idea. Whereas again, the AI chatbot has no, they're not going to notify law enforcement that, Jimmy over there told them that they want to go shoot up a school, right? And we've seen what happens with some of these AIs. Look what happened when Microsoft let that one AI loose and it was learning from Twitter and how fast it went out of control, right? What I'm saying is that there's no box here that lets us be controlled. And then again, especially when you start talking about minors who could get access to firearms, who are particularly vulnerable because their prefrontal cortex is not fully fucking developed yet, right? I mean, how many times when you're a kid did you think somebody liked you just because they, smiled at you funny, right? Let alone what an AI chatbot can simulate to a minor, again, in a completely simulated environment, that could make that minor start to develop feelings and thoughts and things that are supremely unhealthy, right? And again, I think that we're just refusing, and this goes back to what we talked about in the last segment. I don't trust that this current administration, because this has to be done at the federal level, right? Because it's, again, you can get access to a chatbot from anywhere, right? I don't think that our current government, the way that it's structured and built, is in a position to fucking regulate this the way that it absolutely needs to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And I remember what, 6 years ago, maybe 6 to 10 years ago, everyone was talking about like the dangers of like Facebook, Twitter, everything on like young, undeveloped minds. And I actually read a few studies about how like this generation who was brought up always with a phone or a tablet in front of them, who always had social media, they're more depressed than other generations. And it kind of, some of the theories that I read, this might be outdated now, but some of the theories that I read was we have this like primal instinct to try to make our tribe happy, to try to fit in with your tribe. So typically this, before social media would be like your family, your friends. Now it's everyone online, and everyone online is trying to be fake. They're trying to look cool. They're trying to make sure that everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one, that creates issues when obviously you're a kid and you're like, oh, everyone else is fine, but I'm not fine. Right. And then also it creates issues because the bullying will just never stop. Like, you used to be able to go home and go to your friend's house or whatever and escape the bullying, but now it's 24/7
It
because
comes with
everyone
you. Yeah.
media. Now take that a step further with an AI bot. And I think it's the same exact thing of you have something that is going to continuously learn from you and how to
And from
make you,
everything else it's talking to.
yeah, and how to make itself more addicted or addictive to whoever it's talking to. And it's not healthy. Like, if social media wasn't healthy for kids, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 years ago, AI is way worse.
I can't say as I disagree with that sentiment. I'm trying to think of a way around this. And again, we talked about in the last segment that AI can be a tool that can be extremely useful and helpful to all kinds of tasks and things like that. But again, I wish I had more faith in our government. It reminds me of, I don't know if you ever watched like when the CEO of TikTok, Shou Chu, or Zuckerberg, or any of those guys are testifying before Congress, right? And every time I would watch those hearings just for the funny meat, because it would be like, Mr. TikTok, is the internet in my phone right now? Can the internet talk to me? Like, explain algorithm, and so the thing that I would watch those hearings and go, this is why you guys can't regulate shit, because you don't understand, right? And like, even if it wasn't even the silliest ones, it was real basic ones like, can it read my Wi-Fi? And he's like, well, if you hook it up to your Wi-Fi, I mean, it's connected to your Wi-Fi, then yeah. But then like their complete lack of understanding of basic technical concepts, right? Yeah. That again are to anybody under the age of 45 are just common knowledge, And so this is again why I think we're going to be 20 years behind, because by the time the people who get into power, right, are the age where they understand what the fuck is going on, it's going to be 20 years after we needed these regulations. And so instead of being proactive with regulating these industries that desperately need it, right? And even at one point, the CEO of OpenAI was like, you need to regulate us. We're going to keep operating in this unregulated environment because we have to, because our competitors are as well. We're not going to give ourselves extra rules, right, that our competitors aren't using, but you should be regulating it. The CEO of OpenAI was like, regulate the AI industry. And they're like, what's an AI? And again, and because, congressmen and senators refuse to fucking retire, and young people are just annoyed with the system and aren't running for office. The fact of the matter is again, what should be basic, common, technical knowledge, shit that we just know, they just don't get. And so we're not being proactive. We're going to end up always about 15 years behind the 8 ball when it comes to regulating these, I think. I would be surprised if we had any meaningful regulation before the end of this decade.
Yeah.
We at least need age restriction and liability laws, right? You guys got to start making these guys liable for shit that goes sideways, at least civilly, because it will making Microsoft civilly liable, or any of these AI companies civilly liable for the actions of their AI if it does something wackadoodle, right? Data retention records. You got to get that stuff in there. I don't want to come in here and be like, make regulations and not give some suggestions, right? Data retention tools. They got to log these chats so that you can go back and do investigations. And they need to be held civilly liable. And somebody in the chat brought up, will they be held accountable as a manufacturing defect is discovered or an employee that acts negligent / maliciously? And I think that there is a difference between those two, right? Sadly, not just this administration, but administrations for a long time have had a hard time with going after corporate bad actors. So I think that's another thing we need to fix. We'll fix that by getting rid of Citizens United, right? But yeah, I mean, there is some very common sense regulations you could put in place for artificial intelligence that would make it function better. Or safer, I should say.
Yeah.
I'd say do something, Congress, but I know you're not going to. All right. With that, we'll leave that topic alone for the time being. Thank you guys for listening to that one. Let us know what you think. What are your suggestions for AI regulation? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay. Let's do a couple chat ones. Somebody threw in some funny ones. We'll do some quick short takes to cleanse the palate. Jay, what is the best food that comes in a can? Wait. I think we have to separate it. Like, are we talking about? And the person in our Discord chat was not clear. So let's define this a little better. Are we talking about standalone food that you could just eat, or are we counting anything that you would like get in a can that you would put into other stuff, or do you want to do that as two separate like sections there?
I think. I mean, I would say standalone that you can eat, like, or just in general. I think my favorite food that you can just eat from a can. For me personally, it was always the little like Vienna sausages.
Oh yeah, those things are
like
terrible for you.
Very bad for you, but that was a lot. I loved them. I mean, yeah, I would eat them all the time. That with everything else that was cancer causing, like bologna and hot dogs and stuff. So
okay, I'm gonna go. So chat corrected me. It was standalone canned food, right? So here's what I'm gonna go with. For standalone canned food, and I'm going to disappoint some in the chat, but I'm going to talk about this in a second. For standalone canned food, I got to go basic, man. It's canned chili beans, right? Find your favorite brand, right? Dump it into a pot, heat it up for 2 minutes, and eat it. Okay, canned chili beans is really just the most versatile. It's the best canned food. Now, honorable mention, ingredient-wise, mostly because I've tried to eat it solo, and it's just not good by itself. But it is the most versatile food. And that is Spam. Okay? Spam and eggs. Spam sandwiches. Spam masubi. Spam and rice. Dude, there's so many. And I hear a lot of people like, Spam, dude, go to restaurants with people who ethnically, where there's lots of Spam. Dude, you can do some good shit with fucking Spam. Okay? Somebody said in the chat, Spam is a starter in your hot pot. To add salt to your hot pot without having to dump in salt. That's a great idea if you're making hot pot, right? Yeah. But I gotta go chili beans. I can't do the Vienna sausages.
I guess like now, today, like I would probably go chili route.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I probably ate way more Vienna sausages than cans of chili, unfortunately. And yeah, when we were out, what was that, 2 or 3 months ago, when we went out for dinner, I believe, or lunch or whatever, we ate at that Hawaiian place that had fried Spam, and I got it, and it was amazing.
That was the place that we went before. I can't remember if it was before this Fantastic Four screening or the Superman screening. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
It was before one of the earliest screenings that we did earlier this summer. And yes, you will see that a lot in island culture, in Hawaii and Guam and a lot of those places where it's just really easy to ship Spam. Somebody in the chat, Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs with meatballs. Okay. If you are under the age of 13, I will grant you that. Okay? Okay, I will grant you the Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs with meatballs if you are under the age of 13. I tried to eat that not long ago, and I don't remember what situation I was in where I was like, fuck it. Dude, that sauce is like fucking tomato, like Kool-Aid. It's so sweet, and there's no substance to it.
Yeah, I honestly like never super liked it. This is coming from the Vienna sausage guy.
Like, Vienna sausage, yes. Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs with meatballs, no.
I know that's weird, but like
I should have been recording this segment because it would have been funny.
I don't know. I was always, every time when I ate it, it just tastes weird to me. I was like, something's off. Like this doesn't taste like real food. Again, coming from the person that ate. Yeah.
Honorable mention to Dinty Moore beef stew cans from the chat. Right? Yeah, I'll give you the Dinty Moore beef stew, but I'm gonna do this again. Honorable mention right after Spam, canned corned beef hash. Very similar in concept to Spam in that I can mix it with a bunch of shit. Right? It's corned beef. It will last forever on a shelf. Right? And you could just dump it with eggs, potatoes, rice, whatever. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Just hash browns, right? There, canned tuna should probably enter the conversation there as well. I don't mind. I used to eat a lot of canned tuna. Not as versatile, but yes, still very versatile.
I still eat a lot of canned tuna.
Okay. So this is where you and I are gonna get into it. When you're making like a tuna salad sandwich, okay? Yeah. Pickles or no pickles?
No pickles, because I just don't like pickles in general, because pickles are just sour cucumbers. I don't know why they exist on this planet.
Okay, I love pickles, and I won't put pickles in tuna salad because it's fucking gross. I don't know why people... Look, if you're going to do a tuna fish sandwich, tuna, little mayo, you're done. Okay? Slap that shit on some Wonder Bread and you're good to go.
Oh, gosh. But okay, so a couple of things here. One, for the past couple of years, when I eat tuna, I do not like cottage cheese. I hate cottage cheese. But if I'm looking for a high protein, low carb meal, you mix tuna with cottage cheese, very low carb, very high protein, and it fills you up really, really fast, and it's super cheap, easy to make.
Yes, but it looks like something my kid would have vomited up when they were a toddler. I'm picturing it in my head, and I
Yeah,
can't do it. I can't do
yeah,
it.
it does look
That's fucking gross.
it does look gross.
I don't think I could eat it just from the sight and the texture. Like I don't think I could do that. Again, I'm going back to my original answers. Canned chili, spam. Give me those two things. Fuck, man. If the goddamn apocalypse started tomorrow, if I had a garage full of canned chili and a bunch of spam, I'd be good with the variety of shit I could make with that and some like dried bags of rice for like a year. Because you just cook some rice in the chili, and now you got chili rice. You can get some dried macaroni and put it in the chili, and now you got chili mac. See?
Now that we're like talking about this, I also super used to love canned pears.
Somebody in the chat,
Like,
somebody in the chat mentioned canned pineapples.
yeah.
All right, somebody in the chat mentioned canned crescent rolls. I'm not counting that. I'm not counting that. That is not really a can. It's a cardboard tube with two metal caps on the end. That does not a can make. Okay. Yeah, so I said somebody mentioned canned pineapples. I could see that, right? And you want, when the apocalypse come, you want to not get scurvy, right? That's where we're aiming. Don't die of scurvy. So, Jay has the canned pears, canned pineapples. Yeah, all right. I'm on board. I'm on board. Somebody else said dillweed in tuna salad adds flavor depth. I believe that. I believe that. Look, pepper goes a long way. Just regular old black pepper helps. And a lot of you people need to learn that. Okay? It's okay to spice your food. Okay? It's fine. I learned how to pickle and can thanks to my family. Actually, my grandmother used to can things, right? Which I always thought was weird that she called it canning because there was always in those mason jars.
Oh yeah.
They would call it canning, but I'm like, those aren't really cans. Those are really like jars. But regardless, but yeah, look, I think canning is a super useful fucking tool. I've seen how to do it. Like you boil the jars and you do all this stuff. I just don't have the fucking patience. I'm honest.
Yeah, it
Look,
does sound like work.
When we put the compound together, I'll be in charge of defenses, okay?
Yeah.
I am not a gardener, okay? I am not a canner. I will cook in the evening. I love cooking. But I am not the gardener, the canner, or any of that. Like that's just it's not my job.
Yeah, that would probably be my wife. She grew up
Mine too.
all of that stuff. So
okay. So yeah. Best food that comes in a can. So I'm glad we had that topic. Thank you for that, chat. Somebody else put in there, we shoot missiles at boats now. Yes, and I would love to know what authorization AUMF they're operating under. But again, much like we mentioned in our last two segments about our completely ineffectual federal government, I don't expect our Congress to do their job and, conduct oversight of the executive. So I guess we do now. Pickled kelp. All right, you know what? I'm leaving that. Leaving that alone. No, you're fired, chat. It's not happening. Not happening. Did you have any thoughts on the missile at drug boat story from this week?
No. Missiles go boom. That's it.
Yeah. Also in quick topic hits, Hollow Knight Silksong crashed every digital storefront today. For the sequel to the original Hollow Knight, it blew up.
Oh.
There was no pre-order option. It was simultaneous release across all platforms. and it caused massive outages to Steam, eShop, and PSN. Because everybody wanted the new Hollow Knight. And I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. You know, that was a very popular game. Were you into the Hollow Knight games, Jay?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? Like, I've seen it. I've seen my friends play. It was one of those things where I was like always like, oh, like I want to play that, and then just never got around to it. But now I think that would be a great game for like my little handheld gaming device, you know, something that's simple but also
Yeah.
really entertaining.
I keep thinking about buying a Steam Deck, but I can't quite bring myself to do it. I'm not
So
traveling quite enough.
yeah, I chose to do the like what the Asus AOG one or no ROG
Yeah,
ROG
it's the ROG.
uh, because they had a sale, like it was better specs than the Steam Deck. They had a sale one time where it was cheaper than the Steam Deck, and I was like, well, F it, do it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's fun. It's fun when you're on. It's amazing when you're on an airplane.
And again, if I was traveling more like I used to for other works, right? Other work that I did, I would absolutely buy it. But right now, I can't quite cost justify it. But yeah,
Just just imagine it. Okay, Alex. Imagine you're in your garage. You have you're cutting out the outside world. It's just you, your cans of chili beans, and just Hollow Knight. Just sitting in the garage.
fortunately for me, I am very fortunate. Jay, you've been to my house, right? I am very lucky. I don't need to go to the garage to cut out the world, right? I really am. I'm very fortunate. Everybody in my house, me, my spouse, and my daughter, everybody's got their own private space, right? You know, like my wife has her own private office with a door and stuff. I have my studio slash office thing, right? That you all see behind me. My daughter has a space, you know, so we're very fortunate. So I don't need a Steam Deck and to go hide in the garage. I'm lucky, right? Um, very fortunate. Ooh, excuse me. Son of a bitch. All right, let's move on to our next planned topic, though. We already talked about canned food, and Jay's got a topic for us about fast food. I saw this interview on CNBC, and I think it's actually kind of an interesting topic. So yeah, go. What do we got, Jay?
Ah, also in the world of non-edible food, McDonald's. McDonald's is making a major move to win back budget-conscious customers by cutting prices on popular combo meals starting this week. The new quote extra value meals, featuring classics like the Big Mac, the McCrispy, or Egg McMuffin, with fries and a drink, will cost about 15% less than ordering the items separately. To kick things off, McDonald's is offering a Big Mac meal for just $8 and a sausage McMuffin meal for just $5. In most areas, though, prices will now be $1 higher in places like California and Hawaii. Kind of makes sense. This comes as McDonald's faces a drop in traffic from lower income customers, especially those making under $45,000 a year. The CEO does admit that many no longer see McDonald's as a good value, a big problem when your brand is built on affordability. Other fast food chains are likely watching this closely and could be seeing the start of a broader fast food price war as inflation weary customers push back on rising costs. And this is something that I also find very interesting because about 3 months ago for my MBA program, I actually had to do a whole analysis on McDonald's, like who their customers were, what was their like kind of segmentation that they were focused on. And they have always been historically trying to be one of the cheapest fast food companies. And they kind of broke away from that So, what do you think, Alex?
So there's two pieces that I find interesting about this, and I did watch his CNBC interview where he was talking about this big new initiative of theirs to drop the prices, right? Um, Two things, and he mentions lower income customers dropping off, specifically those under 45,000 a year. There's another quote from that clip that I really liked, where he very correctly identified that right now there are two different economies, right? There's an economy of everybody making under $100,000 a year and an economy of everybody making over $100,000 a year. And if you poll those people separately, they are seeing the economy in very different ways right now. And I think he's 100% right. And the problem is that their core demo, as you so adroitly pointed out, is that under $100,000 a year demo. And the other piece that I saw in some of the commentary on this, I think Breaking Point said something on this earlier today, was that part of the reason McDonald's and everybody started getting so expensive is they stopped doing the things that everybody criticized them for. They actually increased the quality of their freaking hamburger meat. They started paying people more. They started doing other things to get themselves out of the bad reputation they had for being absolute garbage, right? They started experimenting more and changing their menu and doing a lot of stuff. And that increased the price of their stuff, right? And so again, as a child of the 80s and 90s who remembers when a quarter pounder with cheese meal with fries and a small drink was $1.99, literally, right? And I have distinct memories of it being $1.99. You know, it's, you know, it's. I think he's look. They got to figure this out. And it's not affordable. Like if I go take my kid to McDonald's, man, fuck, what's a Happy Meal like $8-9 now? It used to be $1.99. Like, and it is a huge red flag. And what the other commentaries on this is the canary in the coal mine, right? It's not the S&P, it's not the Fed rates, it's what are people spending money on, and this is an area where people are really cutting back. You know.
Yeah.
So you got to know here. Do you think this trend? And somebody in the chat said it too. Franchise wars. Hashtag Taco Bell rising. Do you think that this starts a price war?
I don't think so. It will with a couple, maybe fast food chains, but overall, like not a, I don't know, all out war, because looking at the competition,
It's got to be affecting all of them though.
yes and no. So McDonald's took a huge hit when burger chains like Five Guys kind of came on the
really
scene.
Expensive.
It is really expensive, but they took a demographic of people that didn't mind waiting a little bit longer, didn't mind paying a little bit extra for
that little jump in quality.
Yeah, little jump in quality. And McDonald's did take a little bit of a hit there, and you kind of mentioned it where McDonald's started to try to experiment with, well, what can we do? Should we do higher quality? Another thing that people hated about McDonald's was their customer service sucked. And that kind of correlates with the price or the salary that you're offering the employees. You're not getting high quality employees. Like
now there's no customer service. Every McDonald's I've been into in the last 2 years, I'm ordering on a fucking touchpad, right?
Oh yeah.
And I barely have any interactions with the employees.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it will with some, but some, I don't know, some fast food places, they're not, they're in the same market, right? Fast food, burgers, but they're going after different segmentations of customers.
Okay.
Like, and I think they will get, especially now, with all the talk of the tariffs, we're seeing prices starting to go up on things. There's this freak out of AI, people getting laid off from jobs. Yeah, I think people are going not everyone, there's a group of people out there that are going to be looking at what is the best value? Like when I'm rushing home with the kids from soccer practice, do I want to have to go into a store or into like a shop like Five Guys? Probably not. I want to do fast food. Do I want to spend the money for Chick-fil-A? No, I want something
Is it
super cheap.
Sunday? Can I not get Chick-fil-A?
Very true. Is it Sunday? But yeah, so I think this is going to win back some of their customers that they lost, because McDonald's was really, really founded on a very simple menu. I believe when it was first founded, it used to just be you didn't have options. It was just one burger. You just got burger and a fry. Like that is it. And it was just like that focus on being super simple, a super simple process, making it very quick, very cheap, very affordable. And they've slowly over the years kind of got away from that. So I think it's going to help McDonald's, and not necessarily everyone's going to try to lower their prices and start an all out war.
So I would ask you a couple of questions, right? Based on the fact that you're talking about different segmentations. Who do you think is McDonald's most direct competition? Is it just Burger King?
No, it's not just Burger King. They're also competing with Wendy's. They do have Taco Bell. I know they don't make burgers, but they do have Taco Bell as a competitor because again, like think college kid, right? That is a super simple market like segmentation to think about. Someone who is in college who's looking for super quick, super easy, on the go. I don't have time to be here. Also, I don't have any money. What is the cheapest thing that I can put in my mouth besides dirt, right? So Taco Bell is actually a competitor there with that market segmentation. I'm trying to think of the other ones that like was listed out in the yeah, but it's like Wendy's, Taco Bell, and I would put like Shake Shack.
Shake Shack's expensive too.
Yeah, Shake Shack.
My
Five
daughter
Guys.
and my wife both love Shake Shack, but Shake Shack. So I don't put Shake Shack and and Five Guys in with McDonald's. So
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is they're separate. They're outside of that.
yeah, my immediate again, I go McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. I almost put Taco Bell. Oh, and Jack in the Box. I almost put Taco Bell in its own category because I'm like, that's tacos, right? It's not burgers, right? Um, so those are the four. And again, kind of coming back to the price war again. With them dropping their prices, I do wonder if Burger King, Wendy's can't really drop their prices anymore. They already suck. Um, uh, but I wonder if Burger King does. Right? Those two have always kind of like jostled and fought. Um, so I look, the chat is gonna kill me. So let's talk Seattle now. In Seattle, for those of you who are watching from outside the Seattle area, listen on YouTube. This is Dick's. This is a Seattle institution. We love Dick's. Here's the thing about Dick's: a plain hamburger is $2.50, right? A plain single 1/3 pound grilled patty, no condiment, $2, right? $2.50. Okay, plain cheeseburger $3, right? Fries, they only have one size. It's $3, right? Shakes, one size. It's $4, right? This is Dick's. And going back to what Jay was saying a few minutes ago, this is kind of what McDonald's originally was, right? Super limited menu, cheap, fast. If you've ever been to a Dick's, it's a walk up. There are no drive-through locations. You walk up, hey, I'll take 2 deluxe and a thing, and you're done, right? And it is cheap. Okay, it's dirt cheap. Here's the interesting thing about Dick's, right? And I actually deal with this at my job because we're talking about who competes with us for labor. Dick's starts their people at $22 an hour, and it's 100% covered health insurance, 100% employer paid. Okay, $22 an hour, and they charge $2.50 for a burger. Okay, so companies that are not they're look, you can pay people decently. But yes, we will talk about Dick's. This is the list of locations. I love Dick's. It's this. Um, that's probably the closest when you talk about the Seattle analog. Let's go back to our little rundown here. I think it's a canary in the coal mine. I think it's them freaking out about this is telling me that if we are not in a recession now, right, and we just haven't called it one yet, it's coming. You know what I mean? Look, man, when you're drunk, sometimes you just need a big bag of dicks. And there's no shame in a big bag of dicks. We had a big bag of dicks at my wedding. We had so many bags of dicks at my wedding, right? It was just dicks everywhere. Okay. Big greasy bag of dicks.
This is the actual issue that we have with YouTube.
What, the fact that we're talking about bags of dicks? Look, man, it just is what it is. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got for this topic. Do you have anything else there to add, Jay?
I'm just like scrolling through, so I'm looking at the Harvard study that I had to or the Harvard case study. Yeah, here you go. Competition. McDonald's competition, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell. It does actually list Chick-fil-A as a
Chick-fil-A is relatively inexpensive.
Yeah. That's it. That's their main competitors.
Yeah. Again, I don't put Five Guys and Shake Shack in the same conversation. Yeah, now, I will say this. On the Five Guys Shake Shack discussion, I actually prefer Shake Shack now.
Ugh.
I like their burgers better than Five Guys. I think they've got more options and I can put more good stuff on there for basically the same price. So there you go.
Okay, so you go. I'm going to read you something. A subsegment of the fast casual restaurant industry is the premium burger segment, which grew 10 times faster than traditional fast food chains from 2008 to 2013. Customers have been flocking to burger chains as Five Guys, In-N-Out Burger, Shake Shack, Smash Burger, and Fat Burger for higher priced, higher quality burgers, while fast food restaurants such as McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's have scrambled to counter their own premium offerings.
Well, see, I think that's flipping around. And yeah, to answer the chat questions, McDonald's getting cheaper. Yeah, they just announced a bunch of price drops because they're trying to come back to that kind of value proposition. I think that those companies are going to start, again, if McDonald's is seeing this, I still think you're going to see the volumes at places like Five Guys and Shake Shack go down. Because, yeah, I mean, people just don't have the disposable income. Because I go to Shake Shack with me and my family, right? If I buy 3 burgers and 2 things of fries at Shake Shack, that's $45. It is. Okay? It just is. And I think McDonald's CEO is right. The quote I kept hearing in my head all day. He said there's 2 economies happening right now. There's everybody making 6 figures or more and everybody else, right? And they are seeing 2 very different economies right now, and people need to recognize that. And I don't think that they are. Speaking of spending too much money, you want to move on to the next topic?
Oh my gosh, what is the next topic?
Quintuple A games. By the way, we'll actually drop this because I haven't actually made this announcement. If you guys happen to, I know some people dropped some stuff in the Discord before the show. If you guys have any topics in the chat, go ahead and drop them in the chat now. We'll try and hit those up in a little bit. We'll discuss this. But I ran into an interesting article on Kotaku today, right? And it's this. GTA being the first AAA or quintuple A game is a sign of confidence and desperation. Basically what they're talking about is this might be the most long anticipated hyped game of all time is GTA 6. It's been 10 years since GTA 5 came out, and the rumored budget for GTA 6 is $1 billion. And they're estimating their marketing budget at $500 million. So 1.5 billion just to get this thing out the door. And again, they're talking about this being larger in scope and bigger and more massive than your typical AAA. So again, the whole quintuple A games. And so my question to Jay is, do you think that there is any way that GTA 6 comes out after 10 years and $1 billion budget? And is there any way for it to completely live up to the hype? Or do you think that no matter what happens here, even if it's one of the best games ever made, that there's just no way after 10 years and $1 billion that you're going to meet consumer expectation?
Ooh, they have to. At the end of the day, they really have to if they're sinking what $1.5 billion
That's
into this
baseline. Baseline.
baseline. I mean, we kind of talked about this before we went live. So the last GTA made about 10 billion.
Mhm.
So they are their plan here is to, okay, well, if we increase our budget, if we increase our marketing, we will make even more than 10 billion.
Well, and especially again, we talked about this too. Once they go to the online and live service and servers and all that other stuff, consistent debugging and QA and customer service, like the baseline budget is 1.5 billion. They're going to end up spending a lot more than that before this cycle of this game is over.
Yeah. I think what could really, really wreck their little like business plan here is going into a recession. If people just do not have the money to spend on that video game and they don't buy the video game, this is going to flop. But to answer your question specifically, can they live up to the hype? Well, I mean, I don't know. Last weekend we just saw FSU beat Alabama in football, which should be a little bit of a sore subject since their new football coach, Alabama's football coach, used to be UW's football coach.
Yeah, he left town with leaving a bad taste in everybody's mouth. We don't care about that guy.
But anyways, living up to the hype, I don't. This is going to be tricky. I think they could, but I also think it could. It might be the end of GTA.
So two things that I think are going to affect us too, and I'm sure that they're doing this study right now. The rumors on the price of this game have been all over the place for a while, and to be clear, Rockstar has not released a price for GTA 6. But a lot of people are expecting it at baseline because of the size that they're hearing that it is, because of the size of the budget, to be between $89 and $99 for the standard edition. And I'm sure Rockstar is doing this analysis. And again, I'm sure because, again, if we're not in recession yet, it's coming. How do they figure out how to price this thing right? Again, we saw a lot of the backlash as games have been kind of jumping to that $70, $69.99 consistently. There's been a lot of pushback from gamers, right? Saying that's just too much. If Rockstar comes out here and makes this thing $79.99, $89.99, $99.99, how do they balance that out, and how does that affect the longevity of this game? Because whatever you set the baseline price at, you can't discount it for the first 9 months, or you piss off the people who bought it at full boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, and I say that because like really they should, and I would be shocked if they're not doing this. They're doing a lot of market analysis. Like they're doing case studies. They're bringing people in. They're seeing their reaction of like, oh, what if we offered this game $79.99? And then also there's a lot of market analysis that you can buy. That there's companies out there that like just specifically just gather data on every single person, puts them in segments. Okay, what segment do you want? Here's exactly who they are. Here's what motivates them. Here's their hobbies. their behaviors, blah blah blah, how much they're willing to spend on XYZ. So they're probably looking at that. Oh, but I kind of think about this. Ironically, when I was in college for engineering, super busy all the time, very little sleep, if not any sleep. But I felt like I played more video games when I was in college than I currently do today. You just find time to do it. Like, oh, we don't have an assignment due this week. Sweet, let's stay up all night and play video games. And I think if you offer a game for $79.99, you're going to lose that college crowd. Me personally. So I don't know. I've seen, and I know you have too, Alex. Like you see where like, oh, a video game is like $49.99, but then if you pay $79.99, you get these like special skins. You get like I don't know, 100 gold coins, blah 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 blah. But you don't have to spend that much money just to play the game. I hope they go that route. I'm super excited for GTA. I would probably not spend $79.99. I would wait a year or two for it to go on sale.
Okay. So I'm of two minds on this. Well, I'm of multiple minds on this, right? So I used to, and I've done this topic, I think maybe before we were called the Erico Show, but various shows I've done in the past. When we talked about the subject of the pricing increasing on video games. And the point that I bring to people is I go, here's a ad from 1995, right? With the PS1 and the Sega Saturn, right? Madden 97. Madden 97 was $54.99 in 1997. In 1997. And the games now are much more expensive. They're much more immersive. The dollar is not the same value as it was back in 1997. Okay? Like, I'm telling you right now, the AAA game manufacturers, the publishers, they fucked themselves by leaving gaming pricing alone for the better part of 20 years. Right? Like, it was a bad idea to leave it at that $59.99, $49.99 level for a long time. Okay? So that's one thing. And so there's a part of me that goes, yeah, man, if the scope and scale of GTA 6 is as big as what we're understanding it probably is gonna be, shit, man, this thing better be $100. Right? Now, like you said, back in college, play a lot of video games, and like I'm in the same boat. Man, when I went back to college, in fact, it was when I was first dating Jess, when I went back to college after my second tour, I went to school for 3 hours a day because that's a full course load, I'd come home, do a little bit of homework, go for a run, and come back, and she's at work. Fuck, man, I'll just play fucking Assassin's Creed for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like you said, I had way more time to be both social and play video games back in college than I do now. Now I'm a little more picky, right? Like, I already know what game is taking me through the winter, right? Like, I just know, okay? Like, that's just happening. Comes out at the end of this month. Conversely, again, I think you're correct that I think you kill out a lot of market segment. If you make this thing 80, 90, $100 like we think, yeah, and again, I'm sure they have market analysts going, here's the curve, right? Anybody who's ever taken a micro or a macroeconomics course has seen the supply demand curve where it's like, where's your equilibrium? I don't know. And again, there's also a psychological factor here. Maybe they go crazy and they go, fuck it, we're going to sell the thing for $50 because everybody's going to buy this thing at $50.
Yeah.
Right? If we come out, sell this thing for $40 or $39.99 or $49.99, everybody's going to buy this mother. Right? And we're going to get them hooked for years. So, I don't know. So difficult. I still can't believe they're spending $1 billion on this game.
And yeah, I hope that's what they're doing. Like they're.
By the way,
spreading the rumors like, hey, 79.99, possibly, maybe.
And I think
And
they're
then
doing that intentionally. I think
yeah,
they are
and
leaking that intentionally.
then they hit you with their 50 because your mind immediately and all the hype around spending $1 billion, all of this, you're gonna see that $50. You're like, wow, that's so much cheaper than
Or even
$79.99.
$60. Even if they went $59.99, I think everybody'd be fine.
Yeah.
So two things, right, that I want to bring this home. So one, are you a big GTA fan? What's that?
Personally,
Yeah.
me, I used to be. The the last GTA I played was San Andreas.
So
Uh,
okay. I too was a big San Andreas stan. I loved GTA San Andreas. I played 4 and 5. I didn't like 5 that much, mostly because I didn't like the character. Like the story mode just wasn't as engaging to me personally as GTA San Andreas was. That being said, and this is the other part where it comes back to you personally, for GTA 6, we are going back to Vice City, which means we're going back to Florida, man. Right? So you can go back, and apparently the new GTA is supposed to have like a North Florida like section of it, right? That's going to be very much like Northern Florida, and then a Miami area, and there will be like an Orlando, like a theme parky kind of area. That's the rumor, but they are going back to Vice City. The trailers we have seen, we know this one's primary setting is Vice City again, so we're back as Miami as the the analog, right? So does that make you more or less hyped to try GTA 6, knowing we're going back to Vice City? The original Vice City, the 80s, because it was set in the 80s in that Miami Vice style. I loved Vice City, you know. So what is your thought about this, Florida man?
it is intriguing, and I just pulled up the map, and yeah, that's oh gosh. It does intrigue me. Like it makes me wonder, like, are they going to have Tallahassee on here? Is that going to be part of North Florida? But yeah, I would. It doesn't like deter me. Like I don't mind playing
In
a
Florida,
video in Florida.
I'm just saying, would it make you more or less hyped about it?
It makes me more intrigued. I wouldn't necessarily say hyped. If I was like from the Orlando area, then I would probably be super hyped. I would be like, oh my gosh, like let me see like how I don't know how much attention to detail they did. But it could be fun. I hope there's like people that are eating each other's faces and stuff.
Crazy zombie people,
Yeah.
big cigarette boats, all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, let us know what you think. Are you interested in GTA 6? Do you think that this game is the first one that is officially too big to fail? Like, what do you think is going to end up happening here with Grand Theft Auto 6? Let us know down in the comments below. I'd enjoy another Jedi. I want Titanfall 3 more. I want Titanfall 3 so fucking bad, and it's never going to happen. Much like Half-Life 3, we're just never going to get Titanfall 3. Because we can't have nice things, EA. God, I love Titanfall 2 so much. I love Titanfall 1, but Titanfall 2 was so good. It was so good. One of the best single-player stories I've played in a first-person shooter. Full stop. Such an awesome game. So, go back a couple of these. Nintendo isn't backing down a price. In fact, they just raised the price because of the tariffs. Some other stuff. No, Nintendo's not backing down a price. Nintendo doesn't give a shit. Nintendo doesn't care. The other thing that I think about Nintendo, though, for most of their first party games, they're meant to be played for a long time. You don't buy Animal Crossing and only put 40 hours into that thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't buy Pokemon and only put 40 hours into it. Like, I can't think of many Mario or Nintendo first party games that you only put a few, like, they're all kind of designed to have real long term something out of them. you know. And as soon as there's a new Animal Crossing, I'm sure I will get forced into buying a couple Switch 2s. We have not dived in yet. Have you bought a Switch 2 yet?
No, God,
I can't bring
I
myself to do it yet.
I haven't bought anything Nintendo since the GameCube.
There are 2 Switches in my house because my wife and my daughter both had a Switch. I had a Wii U. I was one of the 9 people that bought the Wii U, and the Wii U got me through my wife's pregnancy.
Oh.
Which is a funny story. And that sounds worse than what it really is. Okay? So I had a Wii U, and the Wii U was like the concept for what the Switch became. So the problem with the Wii U, one of the reasons it didn't sell well is everybody thought it was an add-on to the Wii, not a completely different system, right? But what was cool about the Wii U is it had a big tablet-y, like Switch-like. It very much was like an early prototype of the Switch. Game controller, right? And what was cool about it is you could remote your game out of your Wii U and play away from your television, right? So it would be in your disc would be in your Wii U, and you could play it. So one of the funny things that happened when my wife was pregnant is she was just tired. Her whole second trimester, she was just like, I'm tired. So we'd get to like 7 in the evening and she'd be like, I don't care if you go to sleep, but I'm going to bed, right? Because it's 7 p.m. and I'm done. Well, there came a couple of points where she would be like, look, I don't want you to go to sleep, but can you just come downstairs and lay downstairs in the bed with me? And so what I would do is I was in the middle of playing Assassin's Creed 4 on the Wii U, and I would remote Assassin's Creed 4, throw some headphones in. She just wanted me to be like in the room. She didn't actually expect me to go to bed at 7:15 p.m. So I would just lay in the bed next to her while she slept and mainline Assassin's Creed for hours because I could remote it into my little tablet. So I thought it was a neat feature. The Wii U pad only did 720p. Yeah, again, it worked pretty well, actually. The remoting feature, any game that the Wii U could play, you could just remote into the gamepad. And just play it on the single pad. So, all right, chat, last chance. We've been going for about, where are we at now? We're at an hour and 35 minutes. Again, to kind of recap some of the stuff we talked about earlier today, Jay and I are going to start a GoFundMe so we can buy Darth Vader's original lightsaber for $3 million.
No, you're going to do the GoFundMe. I'm selling feet pics.
That's right. You're selling feet pics. I forgot. Which is going up for auction, which I still think is neat. Right? Yeah. I mean, look at this thing. It's just... it's so good. I want it so bad. Yeah. So, yeah. So if you guys have any like last minute topics or anything else that you missed, Florida's removed mandatory childhood vaccinations. Yeah, I heard about that. We thought about doing it as a topic, but also RFK was on Capitol Hill today, and that all ties into that. And I don't think we had time to prep properly for that topic. So we decided not to do that. Also, it just kind of makes me mad. And also, I mean, we try not to do topics, and Jay and I will have this discussion. Jay, feel free to like chime in and add your piece to this. If we don't feel like we have anything fun to say, like interesting to say about it, or we're not going to add anything, I don't need to regurgitate what everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
I agree. Ending vaccinations for children is dumb. In other news, water wet.
Yeah. Yeah, we do try to have these, like for instance on today's topics, like there's bullet points, like there's the little like topic intro, and there's these like interesting bullet points underneath the topic intros where it's like, hey, like I don't know, what about this? Like, could mutant kids be a cool thing? Are we gonna get the X-Men? I don't know, like something fun like that, or like an interesting point of view that we could kind of approach this subject from. But yeah, like one, like you said, we didn't have time to research what RFK stated today,
I
and then
saw
also,
some clips and it was ridiculous.
yeah,
To be fair, there was quite a few Republican members of the Senate committee just hammering RFK because now they look even stupider than they already did, and they're really irritated at him. Um, the thing about senators is they really don't like it when you question their power, right? And so RFK would be lying to someone right next to them, and it really, like, and again, just blatantly, right? And then he would completely flip his script for the next senator. And there was one clip in particular where he was like this Republican senator's going, Mr. Secretary Kennedy, do you think that with Operation Warp Speed and the fast development and deployment of the COVID vaccine, which honestly was probably the greatest accomplishment of the Trump administration, was the fact that he was like, give them cash, get a vaccine quickly, right? And this Republican senator asked him, he's like, hey, do you think the president deserves the Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed? And RFK Jr. goes, absolutely, he should get the Nobel Prize. And the same Republican senator goes, that's weird because like 2 minutes ago, you told Senator Bennett that the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID. So make that make sense for me. Why do you think, and this is a Republican, why do you think the president should get a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed if you think it killed more people than COVID? And so again, he was getting hammered from both sides of the aisle today to again, I will give credit where credit is due. I think we should do that to get people to do the right thing more. He was getting crushed today by both parties. So, Dog Dad, we talked about used underwear during that segment. Go back and watch the beginning of the stream. We got away through feet pics, used underwear, used shoes. Like we went through the whole gamut at the beginning of the show. I promise. We've now in this show talked about feet pics, used underwear, and bags of dicks. Okay. It's the Error Code show, man. Like, I promise. We talked about it. Greasy bag of dicks. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Greasy bag of dicks. Thank you. I was trying to think. This is the other problem is that I don't have my Google Docs loaded on my thing. And so I keep meaning to bring stuff up in the rundown. Quick topic we could chat about, actually. I didn't think it deserved a full topic. I saw it. We got a release date for the next Superman movie. Did you see that?
No.
July 9th, 2027.
Ugh.
Here's the thing. I want you to think about the speed at which we release things and the topic we did last week. We are getting our second Superman movie in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
That's fast.
I know it's fast, but it's slower than a feeding train. What is it?
It's hang on. Let's bring up James Gunn's tweet because it's really cool. He released the concept art when he announced it, right? That was done by Jim Lee. Oh, it looks so good, right? Look at that. We got Lex in the green and purple suit. He's going to have Mecha Lex. And keep in mind, this is Jim Lee. This is 2025. This was drawn for the movie. Man of Tomorrow in theaters July 9th, 2027. Right? So we could do this really quick. So here's what we know is coming out in 2027. Okay? Because they were talking about this on Campia's show. So here's what we got. Beyond the Spider-Verse, the last of the Spider-Verse movies, comes out in June of 2027. Superman Man of Tomorrow comes out in July of 2027. Avengers Secret Wars comes out that year, right? And here's the big topic. There is an untitled Marvel Studios film slotted for July 23rd, 2027, between Doomsday and Secret Wars. What do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're slotting in there? Between Secret War and Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Well, if you're bringing it up, it has to be one thing. It has to be magic.
I missed the joke.
Just magic. Anyways, no, I don't know. I don't really know. What do you think?
I think it's Doctor Strange 3. Given how Multiverse of Madness ended with him leaving and going to deal with incursions and stuff, being that it's going to be the one between Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think that the most logical answer to the question is it's Doctor Strange 3, and we're going to get an announcement that they're filming sometime this fall, maybe early next year, for a July 2027 release, which again will be just like this year. When you had Superman Fantastic Four, now you're going to have Man of Tomorrow and whatever Marvel's throwing out there. So, I mean, do you think that there's a more obvious choice than Doctor Strange? One of the other ones I heard was maybe Black Panther 3, but I don't think that's it.
No.
Thor 5, but I don't think that's it.
No.
Spider-Man will have already released. X-Men, could they rapid fire into the new X-Men so that you could do the new X-Men movie? Kill your old X-Men in Doomsday. This was the argument that I heard. Kill the old X-Men because we know the old Fox X-Men are in Doomsday. You're going to kill them in Doomsday and you're going to introduce the new X-Men between Secret War and Doomsday and Secret Wars so that they could come in and save the day in Secret Wars.
I mean, that's kind of where I was going with the magic comment. But yeah.
Oh, magic. I keep forgetting about your obsession with magic. The character magic. Jesus.
He's there now. Yeah.
But you think X-Men or Doctor Strange? I think Doctor Strange is more likely because casting and all that, but
yeah. Doctor Strange makes sense. I think it lines up. Setting aside magic in general, I would love though to get a good X-Men movie. Personally, like I would hope that it's X-Men.
I would too. I do have a concern with the Superman thing. We're gonna get our second Superman movie in 2027, and I still don't know who Batman is. It's still bugging me. Again, I think that the whole Gunn DC verse hinges on that interaction between Batman and Superman, and the fact that we've got a second release date for a second Superman movie, and we've got no fucking Batman, concerns me. Somebody in the chat said Star-Lord. I don't think you'll see Star-Lord in a standalone movie. There's just not enough to do with him. As part of a team up, yeah. Kind of like how they're putting Punisher and Spider-Man. Right? You could put Star-Lord in another superheroes movie, but I don't think Star-Lord as a character, the way the MCU has him portrayed, warrants a standalone film of his own. Would you think?
Agree.
Yeah. I can't. Never say never. You know. And hey, maybe someday we'll actually get the Blade movie they announced 6 years ago.
Oh, man.
6 years ago, Kevin. Where's my fucking Blade reboot? God, I loved the Blade movies.
Yep.
So good. And on the subject of X-Men, I'm still standing Zac Efron for Wolverine. He is my choice. He is my number one choice for Wolverine is Zac Efron.
He is short.
He's not very tall.
Yeah.
Okay. 1. 2.
He can get ripped.
He can get ripped. We've seen him get ripped in movies, right? He did that one wrestling movie, right?
Iron Claw.
Yep. And then there was another one where he did his, the one that convinced me, right? There was one where he did a docu-series where he was traveling all over the place, and there's a picture of him.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, you know, kind of fuzzy, kind of built, you know. I'm like, yeah, I see it. The other reason is, right, have you seen Greatest Showman?
Yes.
Wolverine and Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is a triple threat, right? Sing, dance, action star. How fucking hilarious would it be if Zac Efron was the next Wolverine? Because then you could go back and watch Greatest Showman again, which was a great movie, and be like, Wolverine to Wolverine. And I don't think Zac Efron's that old.
No?
He's 37. He could easily do Wolverine for 10 to 12 years. He's a little on the old side, probably, for Wolverine, but I think he could do it. So he's my dark horse candidate for Wolverine.
Okay.
But Wolverine's not the concerning one to me. It's Cyclops. Who are you going to get to play Cyclops, man? That's tough.
Oh God, who is super annoying that I don't like? Let me think.
What? No Cavalry? No, I don't want. I mean, it was a funny joke for Deadpool, but no, I don't want Henry Cavill as Wolverine. I don't. He's too tall. Also, no. Jack Black for Wolverine.
Oh man.
Yeah, I like how you like Cyclops. Who do I not like? Apparently that Tomb Raider series is still a go at Amazon with Sophie Turner. That's Lara Croft. Wow. They just released an update today. It looked like it had gotten shelved, but apparently they're back at it. So, I'm going to find out here shortly. So, all right, folks. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. That's where I'm going to call it for the night. We love you all. Jay, say goodbye to the lovely folks.
Goodbye, everyone. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
And please share the stuff. Like, share for people so we can beat the algorithm. All right, folks. We love you very much.
Bye.